Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from rough and rugged Wyoming. A special edition episode. I figured I'd make it. See what you guys are all up to. Testing out these new fiber optic uplinks. Looks like I'm coming in clean. Unfortunately, I'm on the webcam microphone, so I hope I'm coming in loud and clear for you guys. The only thing I didn't buy for these amazing computers is a good microphone yet. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to bear with me. But it's good to be on, good to see what you guys are up to. And I always love these impromptu surprise events to talk to people. So what news items do we have of the day? What's happened today in crypto land? A lot of interesting things. Bridge hacks, to be expected. They occur all the time. Apparently threat of nuclear war, that's on the agenda. Go figure. Next 90 to 180 days, we'll see all about that. And all kinds of things in our industry. Markets are holding steady, but they're really fragile at the moment. They're not doing so well. And it remains to be seen whether they'll recover or things will come collapsing down. Oh no. But of course, the news item of the day for me is, as asked, I returned the Twitter handle to the Ethereum Classic community. And I did not port over all the users because that's what they really wanted. And I figured I'd probably elaborate a little bit more on the thought process behind it, but I like to get to your questions and comments and these types of things. So what happened? Well, as many of you know, I've been in that community for a long time, and it got to a point where the community had to make a decision of what they wanted to do, where they wanted to go. In my view, a decision was made that basically doomed the viability of the project. And that's evidenced by the chain volume, the amount of dApps, and the nature of the community and how they treat people. So I left, okay, but I still had this vestigial Twitter handle, and they asked for the Ethereum Classic Twitter handle back, which I said, sure, all right, you can have it back. And they now have it. The problem is that I didn't port the users over because I don't think it's ethical to go ahead and give those users to something that's becoming closer and closer to a scam. They're pushing this narrative that post-merge Ethereum Classic will rise like a phoenix, and all these people are going to make all this money and somehow, some way convince everybody to build on their platform. Okay. The Ethereum Foundation gave itself billions of dollars of pre-mine in order to build Ethereum. Ethereum Classic has $0 to build on Ethereum Classic. The community is unwilling or unable to contribute anything outside of voluntary donations. They have no network effect, and they're no longer technologically downstream of the Ethereum core project because Ethereum has moved to proof of stake. So no core developers, no money, no community, and yet somehow it's a good idea to hand them 600,000 people to broadcast every day about how they're all going to get rich now that the merge has happened. And all you got to do is just buy ETC and it's all going to be great. But I'm the sociopath for not having the courage to turn over those users there. No, I sent them to the spiritual successor of Bitcoin, which is Ergo. Ergo is building NEPA Ergo is doing lots of really interesting things. There's no pre-mine with Ergo. The cryptocurrency had a fair distribution. It's not the child of an incident or an event or disagreement. It's a completely new ecosystem that is young and growing. And it really could use some marketing and advertising because I believe in it and I believe in the people there. And if I have to make a decision between saying to 600,000 people, do you go to the project that is trying to dump on them? The eye of people that are trying to exit, or do you go to the project that has a future? Give them to the project that has a future. You know, they disagree. And if they're so good at building a community, shouldn't it be very easy for them to build up a Twitter handle? Shouldn't that be something, huh? And that's 6 years that Bob seems to mention about all the hard work of building that community. I was part of that too. So it is what it is. And the internet always probably does what it does, which is complain and bitch and scream. And of course, no doubt you'll see lots of people in that community call me a sociopath, call me an evil person, and good riddance to those toxic assholes. Who has time for you? And that's the face you're putting on for the people who tried to help and tried to do things. It's who you are. And it's something you just offer to everybody there. Good luck. Have fun. I does not care anymore. Completely out of it. That was the last vestigial connection. And I'm very glad that it all worked out for everybody. They got their Twitter handle back. Ergo got a nice shot of marketing. Those 600,000 users, probably 580,000 of them are bots anyway, because I want to talk about that too. Now, many of you may have noticed a tweet that I had yesterday where I reported one of the Vitalik bot accounts. And it wasn't just any Vitalik bot account. It was a verified Vitalik bot account. So what happened was that someone hacked a verified account and changed the name and the face in the account to make it look like it was Vitalik Buterin. And then what they did is they used it to advertise a giveaway scam influenced by the merge. Now, I reported that account for impersonation. This is not a normal account. It's a verified account. So according to Twitter, as the blue check mark, the person in the picture, the name is that person. So according to Twitter, that account is Vitalik Buterin. Obviously, he's not, because the real Vitalik Buterin has millions of followers and it has a real account. So I report it, and then Twitter emails me back and says, we've decided this account doesn't violate our terms of service. I want to directly ask the people working at Twitter today, if you still have a job, since Elon Musk is taking over and who the hell knows what's going to happen. But as long as you have it today under the existing regime, do you honestly feel, and the email's right there, I got it, I tweeted it, you can see it. Do you honestly feel that a person who, with a verified account, who pretends to be another person and attempts to do that to deceive people and steal money from them is a fair use of your platform? This is not an automated thing. This is not an algorithm. A human being had to make a judgment call on a reported account, and your team made the decision somehow, some way, that that's okay. And yet there's no problems. Every tweet now I have, at least half of the replies are bots. So 600,000 person account, how many of those are real people? Let's think about it. Probably not a lot. So everybody's so angry about what? That a bunch of bots got moved from one side of the tub to the other at the end of the rainbow. Got to think it through. Anyway, it is what it is, and this is the world we live in, a world of robots, a world of automation. And it's really sad that people can't be honest anymore. It's really sad that people can't do their jobs anymore. That said, there is a solution to this. And actually, I made a video not too long ago, about a year ago, give or take, and I addressed it to Jack Dorsey. And it introduced this idea of verified tweets. And I'd like to revisit it because I do think it's very important. So right when the administrative panel got hacked through an insider hack, and Joe Biden's account got compromised, and Obama's account got compromised, and anyone who was verified, their accounts got compromised. I made a video where I said, well, there's a very obvious and easy solution to this, where you could upload a DID to your Twitter account, a decentralized identifier. And obviously, because the private key is in your possession, not Twitter's, then you'd be in a situation where you can sign every tweet. So instead of having a verified account, you have a verified tweet. Now, what's so great about that scheme is that even if Twitter has a hack, which is what happened with that situation, or somebody creates a bot and overtakes an account and changes the picture, they cannot sign verified tweets. Only you, the key holder, can do that. It's a very simple, easy thing to do. And the DIDs, anybody can get one and go through KYC like they do in an exchange like Coinbase to create a verified account. So you create an open democratic system for people to verify. There's tons of companies like Identity Mind and others that are more than capable of doing this. And it's a small fee for people to pay to go through it. And then suddenly you have two-factor authentication for access. You can use the DID for access control. And you have verified tweets. Easy solution, and Atala Prism actually supports this. Hyperledger Indy supports this. Products from Microsoft support this. There's plenty of people in the DIF Foundation, the Digital Identity Foundation, that have products that would support this. And, Twitter could choose any of them. And it's interesting that there was almost no uptake in response to that, despite the fact that it's such an easy thing to do, and it adds so much power to Twitter. Because once you have DIDs, you can also introduce a namespace for payments, and then you can tip people. You can monetize. You can do all kinds of things. Creators and content people that can do stuff that's so easy. And therein lies, I think, the problem with this type of social media infrastructure. I don't think they actually have any incentive to solve the problem of bots. I think it's quite the opposite, that financial incentives are actually aligned for them to have as many bots as possible to inflate their user numbers so they can make as much advertising money as possible. And advertisers are selling basically ads to robots as opposed to human beings, which is pretty sad. And it gets back to that theme of the age of dishonesty. The honest people are dishonest and the dishonest people are honest. It's the world we live in, you know, and it's what's happening. And it's what the cryptocurrency space at its core should be every day involved in trying to solve in one way or the other. Every day I see on Reddit, every day I see on Twitter, all these people running around, credible people, VCs, engineers, making claims that Cardano can only do 1 transaction per second, 1 transaction per block, no DeFi on Cardano. Meanwhile, our own community on our Reddit, they show transaction IDs where they do like 216 things in 1 transaction. Hundreds of users involved in 1 transaction, like 0.7 ADA for the fee. Not even 1 ADA for 200 plus events. And that's 1 transaction. You can batch lots of them together. That's a much higher TPS rate. But yet we see it every day. Is it picked up? Do people talk about it? No. Why? Because they're not incentivized to talk about it. That's the key. That's the key. So you always have to think this way. Why does the world behave the way it does? Why do things work the way it does? Because somebody is making money for it to work that way. And once you understand that, everything makes sense in that respect. So that is my preamble. And now I shall get to your questions. We'll do kind of an impromptu AMA. So let's see what you guys want. Are you in the bunker? Well, yeah, you know, nuclear war is about to start. So I'm actually up in Wyoming at my ranch. And it's rough and rugged Wyoming. Love it up here. Charles, what are your thoughts about what's happening on Solana, where people are finding ways to avoid royalties behind the NFT? What's going to happen? What are the ramifications? I don't know. Solana's problem. You know, this is the thing. You have to really carefully think about how you design a system in order to be able to ensure it behaves as corrected. So that's called semantical correctness, the intent of the system. The only way you can verify that when code is law is to use formal methods. And the absence of it guarantees that somebody's going to find a way, somehow, some way, to get around the rules. It's rational human behavior for people to go and try to steal and cheat if they can, and they will. Ergo, look at BitTorrent and intellectual property theft. How many people have downloaded Game of Thrones at least once on BitTorrent because they didn't want to wait for the episode to come out on something? Think about it. Charles, are you really 25 years old? No. Any grizzly bears? No, lots of bisons. Charles, why don't you own dogs? I do. Don't listen to the trolls, Charles. Cardano keeps moving. Well, yeah, we are moving. We're getting it done, little by little. Charles, Klaus Schwab. Charles, are there any cricket farms in Wyoming? Would you be interested in doing one with me? Well, Klaus, you told me I was going to own nothing. I'd be happy. Charles, if the war escalates, how will it impact Cardano's value? Everything, every part of our economy, if a nuclear strike happens, will collapse, at least temporarily. We've already lost $9 trillion of stock market value. If a nuclear weapon goes off, I could expect the stock markets to fall 30 or 40%. That's just the nature of nuclear war. It's very infrequent. Charles, 100% faith in your project. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Alex. Love you too. Charles, do you truly think that we're on the precipice of nuclear war? Who do you think will be the first one to start it? So, Emma, let me explain my thinking behind this. It's something I've spent some time looking into. So you have this problem with Russia where they invade and they make a terrible mistake in their invasion in that they assumed that the Ukrainian government would collapse within 2 weeks. So what they did is they undersupplied their armies. They fought a 4-front war They came in assuming they'd reach limited resistance. The Ukrainian military would probably join them. Zelensky would flee the country, and they could then install a Vichy government. They met resistance so much that their troops got encircled, they ran out of supplies, and they stumbled catastrophically in the first front of the war. The second mistake they made is assuming that the Ukrainians would not be given countermeasures to all of their conventional weapons. They were. And the Ukrainians used these to not only resist the Russians, but create huge amounts of casualties for their troops and basically make it impossible for the Russians to properly operate. The third mistake they made was assuming that their officer class and their ability to command and control their armies was competent. It turned out that they're not, as evidenced by the fact that generals are on the front line because they can't trust any of their lieutenants and their captains and their majors, and morale is incredibly low. In fact, we're seeing mass insubordination with the Russian armies, up to the point where enlisted are beating up colonels. You'd never see that in the United States Armed Forces. That's a sure way to get hanged. And it's never happened in modern history for us. So these things combined have created a situation alongside military success for the Ukrainians that Russia's options in the conventional warfare space are diminishing. They're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So Putin tried to mobilize his economy and raise 300,000 troops. Didn't get those troops. And the ones he did get are terrible. And his mercenary armies, Wagner and these others, are failing miserably to, again, move the needle. So now the Russians are in a situation where every time they send troops in, they get massacred. Ukrainians are taking back large amounts of territory. Their weapon systems are ineffective. Their weapons of terror, the thermobaric weapons, aren't working for them. And the Air Force and Navy are ineffective. So here's the problem for Putin. His armies during Russian winter are badly undersupplied and outmatched. They will get encircled and they will freeze to death, or bad things are going to happen to them. And it's really hard when you're a dictator claiming you have power and control and you know what you're doing to have thousands of your troops be on television, on Twitter, and on international press as corpsicles. That's bad for you. So his options that he has left is a tactical nuclear strike. And he's feigning it. He says these territories are now part of Russia and it's okay to use nuclear weapons to protect the territorial integrity of the country. So I guess he's betting that maybe if he uses a nuclear weapon and the world doesn't punish him too harshly for it, it'll force the Ukrainians to negotiate, in which case, at the very least, he can stall the war for winter, which will give him time to resupply, rebuild, retrain, and hopefully, for him, have a better military presence come spring. That is the threat. And the issue is that it doesn't seem like the United States or NATO are deploying countermeasures or drawing a red line where the use of a nuclear weapon would result in catastrophe. Rather, more sanctions, but what else can they sanction? And no additional support. If that's the case, it is entirely possible in the next 90 days to 180 days, we could see a small-scale nuclear weapon test or even be used in the field of battle as a way to attempt to distract or deter the Ukrainian advances, especially if Ukraine continues to take territory and his new troops are ineffective. That's the current lay of the ground if you look at what's happening and how things are being pushed. It doesn't help that there's a very aggressive push in the United States right now for regime change, which further isolates Russia to a certain extent. And it creates a situation where it feels like you have to do something dramatic and drastic in order to change the course of history. So this is the closest we've been to nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's the first time in my life, and my dad, I think, was 7 years old in his life when America was this close, the world was this close to an actual nuclear conflict. And my grandfather lived through it in 1945, and we didn't know at that time how powerful these weapons are, the consequences of them. So it is a very dangerous moment, and it's one that's going to require a lot of very careful negotiation and a very careful thought. And it's also not clear what's going to happen in any of this. Even if Ukraine is to win, and they likely will, we don't even know if the central government will survive, or if civil war will break out because people in the front line feel that the central government is stealing from them. Probably has been. It's just too many people, too much money, too many things going on, too many different agendas, and a long legacy and history of corruption. So who knows? You know, it's a very damaged and delicate situation. And it's one of those things that requires nuance. That's the problem with geopolitics, is we try to compress it into this nice little category of good and evil, and try to compress it in a category of this is the right move, or I would do this, or I would do that. But we have to understand that you're dealing with hundreds of millions of people, billions of dollars, and you're dealing with weapons that can kill millions of people in an instant. You're also dealing with very fragile egos, and you're dealing with incentives that are badly broken. Putin's individual incentives as the leader of Russia is totally different than the global rules-based international order, or my incentives, or your incentives, or Biden's incentives, and so forth. Biden's individual incentives are very different than necessarily the United States' long-term geopolitical stance. It'd be a real big win for him if Putin was to go away before the November election. That's just a fact. So, and it's a real big loss for him if nuclear war happens. That's a fact too. So everybody's just doing stuff. And then we're all just watching it real time as Monday morning quarterbacks with half the information, not getting a full report, propaganda on every side. Everybody's a hero, everybody's a villain. And somewhere in the middle, we forget that there's just human beings on both sides who are living in really bad situations as a direct consequence of a terrible conflict, a war of aggression that Russia started and continues to propagate for the ego of a single man. Charles, have your pens ever leaked in the top pocket from nuclear war to pens? Yes. That's why I bought Lamy pens. Charles, I need to see what's on the other side of those windows. Actually, those are fake windows because this is a fallout bunker. And so I had them put in to deceive all of you guys. I hear I'm a sociopath. Charles, will you take a bong hit with me? If I didn't do it with Snoop Dogg's son, I'm not going to do it with you. Come on. What do you think of Lauren Boebert? No comment. I gotcha. Poker or chess? Chess. Charles, in what ways does crypto feel like the early days of the internet? It's like your first time, right? You're fumbling to try to get the bra off. That's what we're doing here, man. We're learning as we go, but we're getting there. Charles, how many coders are directly working on the Cardano project today? On the core team, hundreds of developers writing the core infrastructure, but there's 1,200 projects. Probably at least 300 to 400 are actively developing if you trace down the GitHub repo. So quite a bit right now. It's huge. I am not a robot. Well, Florida Space Bear, that sounds like something a robot would say. Charles, would you own slaves if you lived in the Roman Empire? No, statistically speaking, I probably would have been a slave. Is ADA ISO 222 compliant? We're working on it. What should I tell my friend who thinks Algorand is way better than Cardano? Well, Travis, ask him why, and let me know. I really doubt Russia didn't think the United States would get involved in the Ukrainian invasion. Oh, they knew that they would get involved, and the assumption they would have is that the Ukrainian government would actually be ruling in absentia. They'd actually be in Switzerland. This is actually why the CIA tried to evacuate Zelensky very early in the conflict. The conventional assumption was that the Ukrainian military would be ineffective and that the Zelensky's government would fall quickly and that the Russians would take large amounts of territory. But then the United States government would basically supply through rat lines a resistance movement similar to what they did in the 1980s with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, where the Afghan government collapsed quickly, but the occupying Russian force would be gradually degraded over time. they didn't anticipate that the Ukrainian army would fight as hard as they did and that the Russian army would be as ineffective as it was. And they didn't anticipate that the central Ukrainian government would actually stay and lead and actually inspire people and build things. Remember, he didn't have a huge approval rating before the invasion and never had been a general or any of these things. He was a television actor. So it was a big surprise, I think, on both sides. And from Putin's perspective, he was thinking that he could take the government very quickly, install a Vichy government, and then withdraw into the border around the Black Sea, and then basically go all the way up to Moldova and take Transnistria. So control the complete port, landlock Vichy Ukraine, declare peace with Vichy Ukraine, and then just basically have control over all the Russian-speaking populations, basically securing his legacy and future and effectively controlling Ukraine without having to control the bulk of the population and making sure to landlock them so that they stay subservient. It failed. They fucked up bad, and it didn't work. But it was rational from the perspective of the information he got. The FSB told him that everybody's cocaine addicts and they're all incompetent, and the old Ukrainian generals longed for the Soviet Union again. They told him what he wanted to hear, not the truth. And that's what happens to leaders who live in echo chambers and they kill anybody who disagrees with them. You only hear good things, and you don't hear the truth. This is true. Officers were killed during Vietnam. Yeah, it was called fragging. And you notice we had a conscript army back then. We used to draft. That's what happens. Charles watches a lot of CNN on that television. Oh, shut the fuck up, you propagandized piece of trash. Grow up and read a book. Learn about geopolitics. It's not hard. I get briefings almost every day on these things. We still have people in Ukraine, and we have people who used to work for us in Russia. And the amount of information I get is ridiculous. But you know better, right? You're a keyboard warrior, geopolitics expert. How's 4chan working for you? Did QAnon call you today? Charles, have you ever thought about getting your pilot's license? Yeah, I'm going to learn how to fly that Black Hawk one of these days. Unfortunately, I just haven't had time. Well, this is not completely true, Hans. Why was a min-mix fee, especially set at 340, implemented originally? It's not part of Agalos's research paper, and we therefore have no reason to approach the theoretical results with it. It is necessary to avoid certain types of spamming attacks, like what we see with Zcash right now. And the intent was to replace that whole notion with a tiered pricing system, and also a side channel for microtransactions to propagate at. So we've written the tiered pricing design. It just needs to be implemented. And it's something that'll probably be rolled in with the bundled in with Babel fees in the input endorsers workstream. But these things are very layered, and you have to be careful with them. Charles, do you do fentanyl? Well, I'm still alive, so no. What happened to Rogan after Goguen? You notice that there's an infinite amount of time after Goguen. So at any time, I could be on Rogan. Did you get briefings on the coup in 2014? Actually, yeah, a lot of people called me before the Ides of June and told me that something was coming. Are the Rothschilds still involved in the central banking system? Well, the Rothschilds I know are involved in ecological stuff. You know, every time I talk to David, he's talking about the plastiki and all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe others are doing the New World Order stuff, but I don't think he is. Charles is Q. I'm sure, why not? You need to file a lawsuit against Matthew Cratter from Trader University for defamation of character. Oh no, somebody on Twitter said mean things about me. Oh, I won't survive at all. JJ, will I survive? Come over here, JJ. JJ's my EA consigliere. How you doing? There we go. Yeah, there we go. He just happens to be up here at the ranch with me. Am I going to survive from this defamation of character?
I think he's going to be okay.
You think so?
He's got tough skin.
Yeah, I got tough skin.
He's good at this.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
He's been doing it.
He's been doing it. You know, we so rarely get guests on the AMA.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, how you been?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me up here.
Oh, it's been great to have you up here.
You guys got to see the Hoskinson Ranch. It's really something.
It is incredible, let me tell you. All 5 acres of it are just great.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, there we go. All right, what question should I? What are you thinking? Actually, why don't you just pick the questions? That makes it fair.
All right.
There we go. Yeah, we're going to make it an interactive one.
Oh, I love this one.
All right. When moon?
Price go up, up.
So you like your job?
Up. Ooh. Oh.
USD is on borrowed time. Global reset imminent. Thoughts? What do you think?
Reset imminent on the USD. Crypto poses a threat.
You know what the biggest surprise for me was when the COVID came out and the U.S. markets went to hell. I was like, all right,
yeah,
crypto's going up. This is exciting.
Counter-cyclical.
And yeah, crypto went down. And I was like, come on, aren't we supposed to be counter-cyclic to the economy? USD is up 22% against a lot of shit. It's strong in times of crisis right now. It's the best of the worst in that respect. But global reset will probably happen if something kicks the markets into crisis mode. So it could be a nuke. Could be something else. Who knows?
Oh, here you go.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Charles, Broncos and Colts are in overtime right now. Who do you think is winning? I have no idea. I haven't followed football since Peyton Manning retired, who, by the way, played for both of those teams. And I'm sure as hell not a Colts fan because they fired Peyton Manning. I like the two of your conversation. We need more See, JJ, they want more of you.
That's good.
Yeah, there we go. That. There we go. All right.
JC, good man.
Yeah, all right.
Or a good person.
You'll get your check in the mail, JC.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is great.
What happened to the TED Talk update? We're still working on it, but we got to get the microfinance product working. So we have position. Oh, there's one down there. Go up a little bit. Ooh. Obsidian Notion. All right, you got to get on.
This is one of our favorite topics. We talk about productivity and knowledge management systems all the time. I've been doing Obsidian. I think it's got a great open source interface. There's lots of community tools, community plugins. The standard plugins are awesome. Slides are awesome. The sync functions really work. You got to check out Obsidian. Notion, if you're trying to build something like a heads-up user interface, like a sort of like a dashboard for your life, like organizing all those administrative life tasks, as our office manager Chelsea likes to say. So, things like that. Obsidian is really, really good for linking ideas together and creating a map of meaning. I think it's pretty cool. We're just kind of digging into it now. So if there's anybody that has good Obsidian plugins, community plugins you want to reference, there's a vibrant Discord. But I think it would be awesome to have people get in touch with anything that you really like about Obsidian that we should be using that we're not using already. Yeah, I'll throw my email in the comments here.
And actually, while he's doing that, I'm using Obsidian as well, and it's the difference between the two. Notion and Obsidian is one is top down, one is bottom up. So with Notion, you have to categorize everything. When you create something, you're always thinking, what category does this fall into? So if you have a well-defined business domain, business logic, it's quite easy to do that. But if you're just thinking, and it's a meeting, something like that, Obsidian is great because you just create the node and then you categorize it later. You put all the links in, you put the metadata in and these types of things. And ultimately, I like Obsidian more because that's how I think. I start with something and then I come back and categorize it. But if you're not careful, it's very easy for Obsidian to become quite fragmented. So you have to be very meticulous about spending the time to label things and put the right metadata in.
Oh, what do you think about this one?
All right, what do you got?
That one.
Go ahead. Yeah. Any advice for a broken heart? Well, I've had a broken heart more than once, Justin. And, the thing is that at the end of the rainbow, no matter how bad it feels, whether it's the loss of a loved one, divorce, these things, time heals it, and it gets to a point where you get the ability to be objective about things. And what you'll notice, especially for romantic entanglements, is that when the feelings of loss fade, you start realizing that it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. And you'll notice in the objective assessment of it that maybe not every interaction was so positive. Maybe not every communication was what it should have been. Maybe both sides didn't spend as much time with each other, a meaningful time. Maybe the priorities were different. Maybe you loved each other at one point, but the people that you had become grew apart. And every time I've had a breakup or a heartache or these types of things, when I look back at it, I say it was the best thing ever to happen to me in that respect. And it got me to a better place in life, and I'm with better people now. Now, what you can do in the short term is you can say, well, this is an opportunity to at least fix yourself. No matter how bad the relationship was and how much you blame the other person, there's always some part that's probably your responsibility. So fix yourself, learn to meditate, lose 20 pounds, go get a hobby, learn to play the piano, do something, get yourself out of it, and get yourself in the mindset that your better days are tomorrow. Anything on your side?
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, take the time that you have a lot of free time on your own, work on yourself, try to meditate a little bit, find that inner peace, inner resources. It's important. Peace comes from within first, it's you got to have that for yourself, and then you're going to be even more attractive for the next person if you're put together, integrated person,
Go hit the gym. Yeah. It always helps.
De-stress.
I got to do that.
Same.
I bought this huge fucking gym for the ranch too. I've used it like twice. It's like that Family Guy with Soprano. He's walking by, just eating the donut while looking at the gym.
We do love our cannolis.
Oh my Lord, cannolis are so good. All right, Chad. How about the woolly mammoth? What do you think about the woolly mammoth?
Colossal. Oh, wait.
Oh, show the thylacine shirt. You got to see the thylacine.
Before the woolly mammoth comes online, you guys, it's coming. See that?
Yeah.
This is coming first. This is the Tasmanian tiger, extinct, a lot more recent than the woolly mammoth. Only about 70, 80 years ago, Australia put a bounty. They were like 10 crowns for every Tasmanian tiger killed. So they killed all the apex predators in Tasmania, but they have like fully preserved samples, and they think that they can de-extinct that first. So they're going to try to figure that out. They've announced all this, the thylacine, and then when they figure out how to do that as a proof of concept, woolly mammoths are just a few years behind. Yeah. They're going to use all the same technology, all the bioreactor bags, all of that kind of stuff. All that technology is going to be a great proof of concept. The beautiful thing about the thylacine is that they reproduce a lot faster. The base animal, called the Dunnart, it's a lot faster than the woolly mammoth.
What's the gestation period?
Oh, like days.
Wow.
Like days or weeks. So a lot faster. A mammoth, you really, really have to get the technology right, because it's going to take, 12, 24 months for the elephant baby to gestate, or what would be the mammoth. So
the mammothant.
The mammothant. They're on their way, but look for the thylacine first. I hear they've got a really great team put together over there.
Yeah, they have a great research lead on the thylacine, Sarah, and there's a bunch of wonderful scientists with a good legacy that comes straight out of Harvard.
Oh yeah.
The difference between the thylacine and the mammoth is they're using the same foundations. There's just different techniques and surrogate animals and so forth. But once you prove it with one, it gives you a high degree of confidence for the others. And the problem with mammoths, they have about a 22-month gestation period for elephants, and your IVF success rates are about 35%. So if you have 12, you probably make 4. And if you have to wait 2 years for that to happen, you need to do a lot of prep work to make sure that those are productive, because you don't want a situation where you don't get a good result. But the company is doing exceedingly well. It's one of the best companies I've ever invested in. I love the executive team. I think Ben Lamb is a visionary CEO, and he has a phenomenal science team, from Sarah to others who work with them, and they do great work. And every part of that company is very strong, and I really admire them. And it's just now getting into those implementation details. So we talk from time to time, and we just kind of see them chip away and come along. And it's always a lot of fun to watch the progress they make.
Here you go.
Hello from a fellow Wyomingite. Are you building a bar in Wheatland? Well, Adam, you've heard right. It's more than a bar. It's Nessie's. Oh, Nessie's is a grand place. It's a really, really grand place. This guy, he's the best guy. I told him I want a plesiosaur skeleton. And tell him about Miroslav. And
yeah, so we found a dinosaur bone dealer. I'm asked to do a couple of interesting tasks throughout the day. As you can imagine, working for Charles, it's always an adventure. But we did find some plesiosaur bones, and they will be hanging in Nessie's. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we got a whole skeleton, and it's going to be hanging in Nessie's in the atrium, and nice water feature and everything. The largest whiskey bar in the entire state of Wyoming. You guys are going to love it.
Oh.
Hey, Charles, hi from Canada. Please say hello. Oh, well, we say hello, eh?
Oh, it's your Jamie. It's me.
You're
Jamie, pull that up.
Fucking look that up.
What we got?
This is fun. I don't have to put any thought into it.
Create any game.
Ada, create any game?
Drunken Dragons.
Yeah, Drunken Dragons is one. Cardano Warriors is another.
Cornucopia is coming.
Cornucopia is some whole metaverse play. There's going to be some game. Obviously, we're doing Crypto Bison. So there's a lot of GameFi and metaverse play in Cardano. In fact, I'll be at CNFT Con this weekend. If you guys happen to be in Vegas, love to see you there. We can talk about games.
That's rad.
That is rad. GG.
What do we got?
Charles, you ever licked salt off of your peanut shells? Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk to Elon?
All right, Charles and Elon Musk interview needs to happen. Well, we did talk to Kimball, and we were supposed to. Whatever happened with that dinner?
Yeah, so Kimball's Boulder base.
Yeah.
We still got to set it up. We were, it was in the peak of wedding season. We couldn't get a good caterer.
Yeah.
That's actually what can't happen. But soon enough, TED Talk. If you had to put a TED Talk agenda together this year.
For 2022.
Yeah.
I think it would be the RealFi stuff, and we'll have a lot to say in November about it. But, I want to redo the TED Talk. 2023 would be perfect because that's almost 10 years from when I did the last TED Talk. And it'll be good to do a reflection of all the things we accomplished, where we've gone from we could do this to we did it. And I owe you guys that to show what we've been able to accomplish. And it's unfinished business for me.
Video with Snoop.
Hey, Charles and Fred, have you filmed the video with Snoop? Not only have we filmed the video with Snoop, we just got the final copy of it. There's behind the scenes, the video, and a full interview that was like, what, 45 minutes long?
It's pretty great. I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think y'all are going to enjoy it.
Do we have any idea when they're going to release it?
No. I'll talk to Lena and Clay Nation folks.
Yeah, we'll see them at CNFT Con.
Yeah. What do we got? Hello.
Hello from Detroit, Michigan, Charles. Well, thank you, Magenta Blue Skies, mostly butterflies.
Michiganders.
My grandfather was born in Michigan on my mom's side, my maternal grandfather. When I was a small boy growing up in rural Michigan, I had the best friend a boy could have, a hippopotamus named Daisy. When immortality. Well, we're working on it. The clinic is going to be open here in a little bit, and it's starting as a primary care center, a care center of excellence. It's been a labor of love, let me tell you. Actually, the HR director for the clinic also lives on this ranch, and so you can never get away from the clinic. It's always something we're doing, and it's just been great to see all the pieces come together. We've had to do everything. We drilled geothermal wells, dug out a sewer line, tons of easements. It's a 10,000 square foot facility to start, but it'll be 50,000 square feet when it's all said and done. And just been great working with my dad and working with my brother. That's been a lot of fun to watch them grow and to see them become real entrepreneurs. And it's become a whole community affair. The whole town of Gillette is really getting involved and working with us. And we're already seeing patients at our secondary site, 23 patients today. So it's a slow burn, but in a few years, it's really going to be something special, and we'll have a lot to say.
Vessel.
How's the Vossel hard fork doing? Well, it's already out. Yeah, you got to pay attention. The last part of it came out September 27th, and we're starting to get all the data. JPEG store, 10x reduction transaction size, cut down transaction cost by 50%, and the same for pretty much everybody. Cardano, Muesli Swap, and more data is coming out. So next month, we'll probably have a ton of readouts from people that have implemented Plutus V2. It worked as expected. When Cardano Classic coming out? Well, you see, JJ right now is all friendly and happy, but an event will occur that will turn him into a villain JJ, and then he'll fork Cardano and create Cardano Classic. JJ's vision. I don't know, guys. We all get along here in Cardano land. It's the rest of the guys who are crazy.
Ooh. IP in the Cardano ecosystem.
What is your opinion on most DEXs wallets being closed source? Well, they are and they're not. A lot of them have the intent to be open source. They just kept it closed, usually to protect some trade secrets while they build up a community. But most we've talked to and we work with have an intent to or already have open source their products and are moving that direction. And we've made it a policy that we won't provide any more development assistance to people that don't have an intention to move into open source. I mean, obviously you have a right to be closed source for components, and a lot of people do it. Even open core models do this. But, you know, we're all about pedagogy and ecosystem. For us, it's very important that that gets propagated and spread.
Decoupling from Bitcoin.
Okay, can crypto markets decouple from Bitcoin, and should they? Yes! Yes, 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 they have to. My God. You know, and Bitcoin's leaving Bitcoin. Wrap Bitcoin. You know, it's like, oh, we'll make Bitcoin better by having Lightning. We'll make Bitcoin better by having sidechains. In other words, the network is so bad that we literally have to leave the network, do something with the network. Come on, guys. Bitcoin I get it. It's valuable. And I did a video on it talking about the mining of Bitcoin producing value. It's wonderful. But you don't need the Bitcoin network. And Bitcoin is just one asset. And just because gold goes up and down, should oil go up and down? Should Microsoft stock go up and down? Should Disney go up and down based on the price of gold? No! So why then should Bitcoin go up and down, and it drags the whole damn market up and down? It's like, come on, guys. Come on.
West Virginia? Yes,
I have been. I've driven through many times. Hit a deer once. It was great.
Oh.
That room is too, oh, you ain't seen nothing, man.
It's big.
It's voluminous.
It's rather big.
Huge. It's huge.
What do we got here? Friend.
Can your friend grow facial hair? If not, can your medical facility help him? JJ, have you ever grown a beard?
Not a full beard. Not the Leonidas thing here.
Do you want to do the beard challenge?
It gets really scraggly. It's not a good look. I need to look professional. People need to, like, I need to, like, do the business card thing with people. They have to expect that I email them back. If I look like, you know, if I try to grow the facial hair, it's bad. It's bad. He's
not going to tell you guys about the Conoco story. He had like the scraggly beard, and they confused him as for somebody else. He got arrested. Stuff happened. The county still is paying him after that lawsuit.
Ooh, Ergo.
I heard recently that that Ergo just gained 600,000 followers. Did you hear about that?
This was a good day.
It was a great day.
It was pretty funny. Ooh. This guy is really, really interested in your thoughts on Freemasonry.
Yeah, I have no idea what you guys are thinking about Freemasonry. It's a secret society, and they have their rituals, and you know, they have their prominence, and some people like it, and it gives them unity and order. I'm personally not a member of the Freemason Society. I was baptized Catholic. Apparently, we have something to do with that, you know. Yeah, go figure. But you know, I wish him well, and anything that gives you camaraderie, brotherhood, and unity, and a community sense, it's good for you. Now, if they happen to be running the whole world, then that's a pretty boring club.
Australia.
Hi, Charles. When do you come to Australia? Actually, last time I was in Australia, I went to Canberra. It was a wonderful time. And I really had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I haven't returned since Australia returned to its roots. But after, you know, maybe the COVID stuff recedes a little bit, I'll come. It just feels a little bit like a prison colony right now. Ever seen any aliens on the ranch? Do they like bison? No, I have not seen any aliens, but I have seen some ghosts. And I'll tell you guys that story at some point. I even got that video. Did I show you that?
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
It's a little Slender Man-esque.
Yeah, it's It was crazy.
Oh.
Should I buy Hosky or Ada?
Hosky, it's not worth anything.
No comment.
It's intentionally not worth anything.
It's the contrarian currency, where it starts getting worse stuff. And we're like, no, it's not supposed to be worth anything, God damn it. Screw you, man.
Can Cardano be a weapon to surpass Metal Gear?
Oh, man, I read that initially as Mel Gibson.
Yeah, you have to answer like Solid Snake and just say, Metal Gear?
Crab battle.
San Antonio?
When are you coming to San Antonio, Texas? Not right now.
Go on the Riverwalk. It'd be nice.
You ever been to San Antonio?
You know, the Jayhawks won the national championship in San Antonio, and I regretted not going. It was very cool. I always wanted to go. Yeah, my friends had a great time.
You were a Kansas kid.
Yeah, Kansas. Go Jayhawks. Rock Chalk.
I remember when Czech Mangione, or whatever his name was.
Chapula. What? Mangino.
Mangino, yeah. He'd eat the rack of ribs and then go fight the king. He was a beast.
How's the giraffe doing?
Yes, my giraffe is doing well. His name is Chips. We named him after that because he loves potato chips. It was a gift from the president of South Africa. He's a deadbeat dad. He has a boatload of giraffe children he never takes care of. But I do get pictures from time to time. And he's living at Fala Fala, which is the president's ranch. So thank you for remembering that I have a pet giraffe.
How much time do we have?
Can you talk about the Game of Thrones final season? Okay. Again, I told you guys I would do this at some point, but not right now. But I did tell JJ. So what did you think of it? Honest opinion of.
It's big. It does exist. It's fully fledged.
Yeah. How long did it take me to tell you?
It took 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Yeah.
It's
intense. I was using a chalkboard and everything, and we were going over all the characters. There's a lot there. You have to do both season 7 and 8. You can't do just 8. Hi, Charles. Cheers from Chile. How many colleges can get connected with IOG to work?
Yeah.
How colleges?
Colleagues.
Oh, colleges or colleagues can get connected. I think he's saying colleges. Just reach out to our science division. Miriam at IOG Research.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. Something like Nipapouse using mithril.
No, it's a different technology, but Nipapouse or Nipapouse. That's literally the technology you would use to replicate mithril in a proof of work setting. Mithril is the proof of stake equivalent. There's actually proofs of proof of stake, which is what Dionysius Zindros read, which is a different technology, but it accomplishes the same thing. So Nipapouse are Nipapouse. Nipapos. Yeah, proof of stake is probably what you're looking for there.
Yeah.
Can you please buy Argentina and make ADA the official currency? Please, please, please. No.
Is it for sale? I feel like this is a Greenland thing.
Yeah. Well, Greenland was for sale at a time period. He just didn't make the right deal.
Did you hear the Chris Pratt Mario voice?
No.
Apparently, the first clip of Chris Pratt voicing Mario in the Mario movie has come out, and people are saying it sounds a bit like Tina Belcher's mom from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, God. Mario. They're making a Mario movie?
Indeed.
With Chris Pratt?
Indeed.
Because the last one I watched had Bob Hoskins and that Latino guy.
Leguizamo?
Yeah, Leguizamo, yeah. John Leguizamo.
As Luigi?
Yeah, this Luigi. Oh, God, that was such a bad movie. And it had, what's his name? Dennis Hopper in it as Bowser. I was like, from Blue Velvet to this? Come on, Dennis. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. And I love how they ended on the cliffhanger. We got to do something, guys. Never.
It was pretty rough.
It was. I would give anything to have Mr. Plinkett review that. Did he ever do a Super Mario Brothers?
Oh, no. He should, though.
Oh, that'd be great.
Mr. Plinkett.
Mr. Plinkett.
Oh.
I have a really great idea for a game, and it could be used with Ada, but I'm not a coder. Any advice? We get this a lot. I have no technical skills, but I have a great idea for something. I say, you got to partner. Okay, it takes a village to build something, anything. And so if you have a really great idea, then what you need to do is go and write that idea down. And then what you need to do is find a good game developer. And all you got to do is just go and look at your local community. There are tons of meetup groups and events and other things for game developers. There's game development conferences. And if you're really serious about it, what you need to do is you need to go. It's not about being a coder. There's tons of people who have tons of coding experience. And they'd be the worst person in the world to write a video game. Writing a video game is a skill unto itself. You have to know all kinds of things, from narrative development, gameplay mechanics, incentive gamification, so incentives, so it's mechanism design, replayability. You have to understand tons of dynamics and these types of things. And a lot of the code stuff is boilerplate because you have middleware like Unity and Unreal and so forth. And so there's an art to it. So if you're really serious about it, you really think you have it, write it down, get it concise, get a good pitch, and then go to Penny Arcade Expo, go to one of the game conferences, go to a local game meetup group and meet a game developer and sit down with them and say, let's talk about this. And you know what? Never be afraid of someone stealing your idea. A lot of junior entrepreneurs, they come to me and say, oh, I can't tell you my idea because you're going to steal it. It's like, believe it or not, I don't have the time to steal your idea. Okay, ideas are so cheap, incredibly cheap. Execution is expensive and hard. Real people execute. Entrepreneurs have ideas. So if you're a real person, you want to execute, make it part of your lifestyle and your passion. And if that's the case, you will be successful. You will get it done.
Go to events. I got plugged in with Cardano because my friend said, come to this Washington, D.C. meetup for Cardano. And you just got to listen and learn. And I said, this might have more utility than Bitcoin. I think it's right.
Yeah, it's true.
Pepsi or Coke?
Pepsi or Coke? Well, obviously Coke. Come on. Mexican Coke.
No cool breaks?
Time for a cool break. Oh, good old Dean. That guy was a legend.
Different, same idea, but different.
Dr. Pepper makes your world taste better.
That's awesome. Pasta.
Oh, well, pappardelle.
With popette.
Oh, yeah, it's popette. Yeah. You got to have the meatballs in the pappardelle. Actually, butter and sage pappardelle is the way to go. It really is.
All right. How you feeling? You want to keep going?
Oh, fuck yeah, man. You feeling good?
We're going to get some good questions. Let's go. Jed.
You're going to have to ask Cody. My understanding is they're in the audit, and they'll probably get launched before the Cardano Summit, but that's up to them, man. Yeah. Shahaf, he's got his finger on the button. Right there. See that button? He's right there. He's pushing it. Hey, Charles, longtime viewer. Just wanted to say good show today. Thanks for all your streams and education in crypto and being around in the bear markets building. Remember you doing the same in 2018. Well, thank you, Matthew. Longtime caller, longtime listener, first-time caller. I really appreciate that. It means the world to us, and we do it because of you guys. You know, we have 1,200 people listening right now.
Hello. Hosky.
Just joining us, Hosky next to Charles. Yes, this is Hosky. Also known as JJ.
He's not going to like that. I talked to Hosky.
Have you?
Yeah.
You know who Hosky is? I don't know who Hosky is. Wow. I
will never tell.
I'll never tell.
Would you work with Vitalik again?
Yeah, sure. If the project was right, he wouldn't work with me because the Ethereum Foundation also made it very clear they don't look at any of our technology because I'm the worst person in the world. And apparently, that's their criteria for technology. They have to like you to look at your stuff. But that aside, if there was a real thing and our interests overlapped, I'd be happy to work with him. For example, I do anti-aging regenerative medicine. He's super interested in anti-aging regenerative medicine. In the future, if I have something and he has something, maybe we collaborate on it. I don't think there will be a crypto collaboration because, that side of the aisle, I'm literally Hitler. I'm the world's worst human being. I mean, everything that's ever bad that's ever happened to Ethereum, apparently I did all of it in 6 months. It's like the original sin.
It's pretty quick work.
It was incredible. I mean, any man whose mistakes take 10 years to fix is a hell of a man. Charles, can you tell us more about human readable wallet addresses? It's just an aliasing system. So basically, you pair a name to a XPub that can generate addresses, and then you have a way of mapping that is understandable. So anybody can do it, like ADA handles or these types of things, but you need a way to create a map that's accepted and standardized, and then it's real estate. So scarcity occurs, just like domain names. So there's only one Microsoft.com, but you can create different namespaces. So you could have a Microsoft.net or a Microsoft.org and so forth. And those are technically different addresses, different locations. So we will build a system or adopt a community-led system and integrate that at some point into Lace and make it easy. So you can send money to JJ instead of Charles or this or that. It's just a name to send it to. And it generates the keys and all the other stuff behind the bat.
Brad.
Hi, Charles. What do you think of Brad Garlinghouse? I've had dinner with him before. He's a good guy. Every time we see each other, super cordial, super friendly. I've never had a problem with Brad. He's a good guy. Oh, come on now. Hey, Jude. Actually, I'm going to be very controversial here. I think Paul McCartney is better than both of them.
I didn't tell you. I interviewed with the Department of Energy for the Trump administration because I was trying to get that bureaucracy job. And the guy in the interview, I could tell he was very conservative. He says, Stones or Beatles? And at the time I had to say Stones and lie to him because I knew that he was so conservative. He would hate the Beatles. He was like, good answer. I died a little bit inside. It's very sad.
Well, I mean, they're a good band.
Yeah,
I mean, Sympathy for the Devil, Painted Black. Fucking every song. I saw the Stones in concert at the Mile High Stadium. And Charlie Watts was still alive at the time. And they just kind of wheeled him out. And he's just like, and it was just amazing. But Mick Jagger still had moves, man. And every song they played was a hit. And they played for 2 hours. That's how you know you've been around for a really long time, when literally everything you do is a hit. Every single thing. It's Yeah, it's an incredible band. But that's the Beatles just had more soul and more depth. And there's just a magic behind the Beatles. Like, come on, guys. Like,
it's vastly better.
Baby, You're a Rich Man. Come on.
It's so good.
Favorite Japanese food? Okonomiyaki!
Middle Eastern dish.
Oh, I don't know.
What else we got? It's in the fridge.
Mostly meat. Lots and lots of meat.
What's after Voltaire?
Whatever you guys decide. We'll propose something, but you're in charge. In the age of Voltaire. It's like those OnlyFans pages where like you can control people's lives.
I don't know anything about that. Oh, favorite destination abroad?
Oh, Japan or Switzerland. Oh, okay, this one. Has JJ ever been cowboy drunk?
Yes, regrettably. That's pretty bad. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, I don't know. I have so many animals these days. I got mini horses. I got donkeys. They all have their charm. I like dogs. Dogs are fun, and they're very loyal and loving. But, I also like pronghorn antelope. It's just the day of the week. The octopus is pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Who can complain about an octopus?
Beautiful.
Never heard a complaint about an octopus.
Oh, Metallica or Megadeth?
Well, we have a personal relationship with Metallica, so obviously we have to get Metallica. I understand your reference, SL, is probably that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and the whole chapter they made on Megadeth versus Metallica. That's where you got it from. Come on, admit to me. I know where you're coming from.
That's a good point. That's actually right.
Yeah, exactly right. But Metallica is amazing. I saw them in concert recently, too. I was backstage at Bottle Rock.
Michelangelo or Da Vinci?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Although a certain somebody missed the Sistine Chapel. They shut it down for us and everything.
Regret. San Diego was beautiful, though. So.
You're your fucking platypus. That's his favorite animal.
Oh, the platypus. It's the best.
Gotta love that platypus, man.
I saw a good one. Let's keep going. All right, keep them coming. We need some good ones.
Come on, guys.
Doogie Howser.
Oh, man, I love that show. Doogie Howser was so good. My brother, he looked so young when he first became a doctor. Everybody just first thought he was lying because he looks like he's 12 years old. And he's, I'm Dr. Hoskinson. They're like, no. And so his nickname in residency was Doogie Howser.
Oh, did you ever watch Silicon Valley?
I've seen some clips of it. Like, I want doors that open like this. Like this.
It's good.
Yeah, it was great.
Good. Like to buy your brown jacket.
Klaus Schwab. I'll trade you at one of those insect factories.
Sasquatch, real or not?
All right, just think this through. If it's a species, right? Any species. When it dies, what happens? It leaves behind what? Bones, remains. If it's a real species of a breeding population, thousands of them floating around, why have we never found Sasquatch bones? Real simple, right? You know, I literally have a dinosaur skeleton. How long ago did they live? What did they live through? That gigantic asteroid striking the Earth, turning the crust into a liquid, volcanoes going off everywhere. We still found their bones. And if the Sasquatch is real and alive today, wouldn't we find bones, remains, these types? Unless there's a conspiracy where every time a Sasquatch dies, there's some group of people who go and collect their bones.
Curators. Need a type of dog. He said earlier, what type of dog do you like best? And then he says, I need a type of dog.
You need a type of dog? Okay. Oh, Bernese Mountain Dogs will never get you down. Those are good dogs.
What book's on your nightstand right now?
Oh, right now I'm reading, get the title for you guys. I got it right here.
Yeah.
It's actually a biography from a Chinese mathematician who is a Turing Award winner. I just forgot the damn title of it. But it's a fascinating book. It's a little mathy, but I think you guys would like it. Just give me a moment here.
While you're looking, do you think astral projection is real?
Astral projection, is it real? Well, I know some people that really think that, but I've never had it happen myself. What do you think?
Yes.
Why?
Hard yes.
Why?
Oh, I just think the spirit's pretty strong. You know, might be able to leave the body and take a lap around, kind of.
Ah, here it is. It's called The Shape of Life.
Shape of Life. That was the answer to what book is on his nightstand right now.
Yeah, and I don't have any books on the nightstand anymore. I just do all Kindle, so that's what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. One Mathematician's Search for the Universe's Hidden Geometry by Xing Tong Yo.
I'm going a little fast on these questions.
Playing fucking fast and loose on the goddamn question. Can't get good help these days. Charles, do you know if input endorsers could be used in sidechains and rollups along with Cardano layer 1? These are orthogonal topics. So input endorsers are an accelerant for the base layer. There's no need to involve them in the sidechains. You could certainly like deploy a mirror copy of Cardano and run a Cardano within Cardano and have it be a sidechain. But the thing is, the whole sidechain model is parameterizing a permissioned quorum that's high speed and has finality, and its root of trust comes from a different system. So Ouroboros plus a BFT protocol is enough forever because recursively you can do as much of that as possible and have as many threads as possible, and the trust model is one and the same. The SPOs are the ones who get hammered with the requirements for that. So basically how it works is that you have your Ouroboros protocol at the base, you pick a subset of them, a sortition of them, and you put them into a BFT protocol for an epoch. They run that, and then it rotates to the next one. Then it rotates to the next one. You always have finality and predictability there, and provability there, but those BFT protocols are super fucking fast. They can literally run thousands of transactions per second, and actually if they go to an optimal state like Red Belly style stuff, they can run hundreds of thousands of TPS, potentially, because they're synchronized, they're trusted, and they're really fast. Okay, the downside is they require a root of trust, but you're getting that from Cardano. So does it make sense to do input endorsers on top of input endorsers? No, because you're replicating reconstruction of the root of trust, and you have to pay for that. It makes no sense. So it's just the main network, and that's enough. And you'll get thousands of TPS, and you know that's good enough for government work.
Delivery or DiGiorno pizza?
Delivery. DiGiorno's cardboard. It's fucking terrible. Do you eat DiGiorno? Was it like a lonely period in your 20s when you're sitting in your underwear in the apartment and you're just putting the DiGiorno in, and then you just pretend it's delivery?
I've eaten more frozen pizzas this year than you might expect. Just like 1 a.m., like nothing in the house because we've been on the road.
Okay, my favorite thing in the whole world to do when I was super stressed in the beginnings of Cardano, because it was so stressful, I would open a beer and I'd order a pizza from Domino's, and I'd get those garlic knots that they're so good, and they're filled with cheese and that shit. Get a pizza. I'd sit and turn on Bob Ross, and I'd literally eat an entire pizza and a box of garlic knots while drinking a beer and watching Bob Ross be like, "Pray large for you over here. Remember, there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. Beat the devil out of it." It was the shit. That was the best moment ever. I was living in a shitty apartment. Yeah, this guy gets this guy. I was living in a shitty apartment. I had no money at all. It was horrible, but I miss those days, man. I really do. They were magical.
Favorite microwave food?
Oh, popcorn, microwave popcorn, by far.
Oh, actually, the first half of this, I'm super interested in this. Will Elon's Twitter purchase have an impact on the U.S. election?
What do you think?
It could, if people are allowed to tweet and they don't get fact checked all the time and random stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. It's really interesting. And if they immediately lift these censorship type things, or they don't start putting disclaimers on basic news articles about facts, it might affect how people perceive actions taken. I saw a really funny tweet from Shapiro. He just said, the way you know DeSantis is doing a good job is because the media has not mentioned anything. So I mean, it's mostly negative stuff or fake stuff. So I don't know. Maybe a little bit more clarity quickly. People get in line. I don't know.
Well, I think you always know where you're at based upon the criticism you get. And so if there's a certain group of people that you're winning against, they tend to get more vocal. So the fact that people have gone from Elon Musk as the hero of the world to he's the most evil man alive and he's a con man and a charlatan. By the way, facts and circumstances haven't changed. He's always been Elon. Tells you that there's some people very scared right now on the left with the acquisition of Twitter. Apparently having a free speech medium is a threat to democracy. Go figure. So I think it's ultimately a good thing. It's going to create some diversity from the gargantuan echo chamber that's been assembled. But we will see. I don't know. We've tried very hard on numerous occasions to interact with Musk and see if we could find a way, because he seems to want to build a decentralized communication protocol, to at least steer him in the right direction and say these are the kinds of people you need to hire and the kinds of things you need to do. And it remains to be seen. Now, in terms of its impact on the U.S. election, this cycle, it's too late in the game to have one, but it could be tremendous in 2024. It's a slow burn like that.
Need some good questions. Really dig deep. Let's think here, folks. What are we going to ask? Favorite rapper? That's a layup, right?
Come on, Snoop. Although, did you hear the news about Eminem?
Oh, what's that? Is he doing Cardano stuff now?
Well, he just did the thing.
Oh.
Sunshine told me.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is good.
This is good. Much love, Eminem.
What type of drug he use?
We're high on life.
No drug. Just love. Ooh, you want to go to Mars or to the moon?
Moon.
Oh, great question.
How will today's crypto survive quantum computing? From Brian Young. Well, Brian, we get this question a lot, and it's because there's this mysticism behind quantum computers, that they're these magical things that when they turn on, like literally everything changes. AI changes, the world changes. It's just another model of computation, and it turns out that that model may be able to defeat some of the hard problems that are the basis upon which classical cryptography derives security. This is known, and there's an enormous effort right now at NIST and other places to standardize new protocols that are effectively immune, or at least resistant to, modern quantum computers. Okay, so the question is, why don't we use them today? Because they're not optimized. They're at least 10 to 100 times more expensive in terms of computation and space to use. Also, they're not complete, meaning that they don't work with zero-knowledge cryptography, and they don't work with modern hash functions and all these other things. So you can try to make them work. And there's certainly post-quantum versions of these things, like Starks, for example, are using hash-based crypto, so they're post-quantum, and that's in the zero-knowledge space. But they're still primitive. in that respect. They still need work. The other issue is that these algorithms are still not provably secure. They have models. We understand kind of their security, but they use very complicated mathematical primitives, which are still newer. And so cryptographers, by and large, aren't super convinced that they're a silver bullet and they solve everything. They're obviously better. Like elliptic curve crypto to RSA, it's obviously better, but it still took 20 years for that to get its way in. There's a wonderful article written by my friend Neil Koblitz that actually says the serpentine path of elliptic curve cryptography, where he actually talks about how hard it was to convince people to adopt elliptic curves in cryptography, even though they're obviously better. The key sizes are 10 times smaller and you get a lot more security, and there's a lot of elegant things you can do in elliptic curve crypto, like HD wallets, for example, that you can't do in RSA. So I'm not too worried about it. We have a plan for it, a strategy for it. And any cryptocurrency that's telling you today, oh, we got post-quantum, we're good to go. It's like, and what they're telling you is, we decided to spend 10 times extra money on space and these things because we're afraid of the boogeyman coming. It's not real. It's not here yet.
Yeah. StarCraft or Warcraft? He does like 80 APM on StarCraft. It's crazy. You get destroyed instantaneously. I was putting together little Vespine gas harvest things, and he had a bunch of little battleships come in. And it's a mess. It's StarCraft. It's really rough. It's not fun. He's good at managing a small economy. Imagine that.
But League of Legends over the three.
League.
Fucking League, man.
Oh. We should get League players.
Oh yeah.
Put out a call for League players.
Yeah, if you guys are League players, we should play some League together.
Yeah. Are those fake?
No, well, yes, they're right next to my wheelchair over there.
Can Cardano collaborate with Ripple?
Sure. Brad, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you afraid Cardano will be banned one day?
No. Well, Cardano will live on. I'll probably get deplatformed and banned, but Cardano's fine.
Do you think the progress we're making on fusion reactors?
Hey, we're making great progress. ITER is doing good. Every day you read about some breakthrough. There's a lot of great, well-funded private enterprises that are hitting milestones. NIF achieved ignition, and it makes more energy than it uses. So it's slow, methodical, steady progress. But I think in the 2030s and 2040s, it will become something real.
Would Cardano freeze transactions to stop an exploit?
No, what do you think we are, Ethereum? Yeah.
Guys, stop trading. Favorite film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. Fellowship was incredible because it was new. It's exciting. It's something I'd never seen before as a kid. The Two Towers, Battle of Helm's Deep was just remarkable. It was wow. And then you see Return of the King, and you're like, this movie's so good, it needs 19 endings. So it was great. You know, also I was really surprised that they got Nancy Pelosi in that meeting. She played a great role with Gollum. It was magical. It really was. She was such a great actress.
You believe in time travel? Uncredited Andy Serkis stand-in.
Andy's gonna be like, my precious. No. No, there's nothing to believe in. It works. It's not the way you think.
Just got to go forward, I think.
So you're skipping the tits and ass question.
I skip a lot. I mean, you want to go for it?
Well, it's obviously ass. That's where the action is.
Man of taste.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Kimmy.
You want to take this one? Here we go. Oh, can I answer this one?
Sure.
It's Evangelion. 100%. Every time. Best ever. Berserk's okay.
What do you got against Berserk?
It's fine. I just don't know it as well. Evangelion's vast. Beautiful.
Thank you, Silo Panda.
Social media. Israel.
Have you ever been to Israel? Many times, many times. Jerusalem, Bethlehem, not part of Israel, Tel Aviv, all around. A lot of fun.
Russia.
Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. It's kind of like Marcia. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Wow.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Tony.
Star Wars movie / character?
Misa got to think. What do you,
Jar Jar.
What do you think? What do you think? What's your favorite Star Wars movie character?
I mean, Luke before they messed him up.
Before he became a fucking space hobo.
With the milk streaming down his face?
You know, I think it's kind of, you know, if you're a hipster, you're like, oh, can't believe you answered this. Why? Empire Strikes Back, you know, and because it is the most complete representation of a hero's journey and the best middle movie of a trilogy of all time. You know, it expanded the lore tremendously. It introduced really unique and engaging characters. It didn't make fun of our intelligence. It had good action. The good guys didn't have to win, but it wasn't overly dark. It explained why the Empire is a threat and why people care. But at the same time, it showed that the entire universe wasn't a place of sunshine and rainbows. And every character had a purpose and a place in the movie. Every single character, a real purpose and a place inside the movie. And they all grew tremendously as a result. And it was just fun. And it left you in a sense of suspense, saying, I cannot wait for the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what a middle movie is supposed to do. Now, in terms of a favorite character in Star Wars, I think the one who had the best journey was Luke Skywalker, no doubt. That, you know, the trilogy was about him, and he went through this great arc and did an incredible job. I think had the prequels been better written, Hayden Christensen, Darth Vader, would have definitely gotten that. Because he is the most interesting character when you see that entire setup. Unfortunately, he's buried under all of this bad stuff. And, you know, that's what made Mr. Plinkett famous. You know, he spent 4.5 hours basically explaining to the world all the sins of the prequels. And they were so traumatizing to George Lucas, he sold to Disney. The new trilogy is just somewhere between a corpse and getting lit on fire in a park. I mean, it's the Last Jedi was so irredeemably bad. It actually did one thing I never thought was possible. It killed my love of Star Wars.
Yeah.
After the movie, I left and I was just in a state of shock. And I said, I don't care about Star Wars anymore. You know, before that, I was such a fan. I knew about Mara J, the extended universe. I read the Darth Plagueis book. I was all in, guys. I really love Star Wars. It was my favorite thing. Okay. But then after that, I just said, all right, whatever. Okay. Star Wars, who cares? You know, there's, you know, the Rise of Skywalker. Okay, whatever. Luke did this. Okay, whatever. The Mandalorian's coming out. All right, whatever. I guess it's nice. Boba Fett. Yeah, I guess he's cool. It literally killed my love of Star Wars. And then what made it even worse was Disney said, well, that's my problem. And I'm at fault. I'm an evil, horrible person. Because I couldn't understand the nuances of it. No, you guys are just garbage writers.
Rise of Skywalker was just, the strobe lights at the end is just the most difficult thing I've ever watched in a major production like that. It's just really, really challenging decision.
Every voice you have heard is me. Ha ha, Palpatine. So, I will save this movie single-handedly. Got us.
Got him. Got him.
Got us.
Great question to end on, I think. What does the ecosystem look like in 10 years?
You know, that's the one thing I don't know. It's up to you guys. All I can do is open the door, and I already did, and I see so many wonderful people going through. I hope that Cardano is in everything, in every product like TCP/IP, and I hope it's so pervasive you don't even know it's there, but you need it every day, just like you do VoIP. So we're working real hard as an ecosystem and community, and I think we have a good shot at accomplishing phenomenal things because we've already accomplished great things. And as long as our best days are ahead of us and we have hope, we will get to that shining city on a hill, a good place to live. So as Paul Harvey says, that's the rest of the story. Good night, everybody.